Okay, let's get into the stock market technical analysis. We're going to start off with the tech sector and tech stocks. We'll look at the Magnificent Seven, and we'll go ahead and wrap up there. Oh, and also interest rates, very important there. So, on the daily chart here with triple Qs, we have we're kind of trading right at support right now. So on the daily, if I roll out, you can see this is kind of the big pattern. We do have this bearish rising wedge. It is a clear bearish rising wedge at this point, and we are the support lines right down here. You can see I've got several reactions here where we are hitting support, and right there we're basically trading right at support. We have about an hour left in the trading day, and I know the PPI is coming out after the bell, so or tomorrow morning. I think it's actually tomorrow morning, so that could impact. Obviously, that we saw inflation rising a little bit. So we'll see. But at the end of the day, we're still just sitting on support. It is a breakdown right now, but it's just barely. It's not impulsive enough and to call it a breakdown. So we need to see more selling from this larger time frame in order to call this a sell signal and a breakdown on the daily chart. Now, if I go down to the hourly, if you're in the private member group, yesterday I pointed out a sell signal. Yesterday we had this kind of shorter term time frame on the hourly. So we have support, support, support. And we broke right up here. And I pointed that out to the private member group saying, okay, on the hourly chart, we have a sell signal and we're likely going to trade down to the larger support level, which is that daily support level. And that's exactly what happened. Gap down. We pretty much gapped right at that support. So if you shorted that sell signal, then it made sense to cover that short when the market, basically in the pre-market or when the market opened essentially, cover that. And then, you got the bounce, and now you're back down at it slightly below. So we'll see where we close the day. Again, not that impulsive. Now, if they dump this thing into the close, that would be the sell signal. That would be your sell signal on the daily chart to see that impulsive daily close below that trend line. But I don't know. I have mixed feelings. It's hard to say. I'm just going to wait and see what it does because they might just try to rally this back up and kind of close it right in the area of this trend line. Okay, and then again, my trend line might just be off slightly equally. So, if that's true, then again, we're not too far away from that support line to where I can definitively call it a sell signal. Flipping over to the futures, Nasdaq futures. Here you go on the futures. Now, the futures are starting to break. If I roll out, look at the daily chart here, you'll see. Just give my charts a second to load. There's the daily. You can see support, 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 support. And there it is. But again, just barely. All right. We really need to see a more impulsive close than that. So look for them to dump this thing into the close. If they do that, that's your sell signal. Okay, and then if I flip over to the SPY, on the SPY daily chart, you can see there's your daily uptrend line, support, 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 and, it's starting to break down. So we'll see where that closes. Again, if we break below this trend line, that's a sell signal. And then obviously you also want to look at the SPY futures ES. And then on the daily chart, bearish rising wedge, support, 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 and again, breaking down today. So all of these, it does look like it's going to go, like it's going to break. And again, I've been talking about these negative divergences indicating that a trend reversal is likely soon. We're just waiting for that sell signal, starting to look like we might get that. So, this ES, unless the buyers step in late today, that looks like a breakdown to me. Magnificent 7 stocks or 5 or however, whatever, they keep changing it. But in general, the big large cap tech stocks. Amazon gapping down, kind of sitting at this support here, still holding this gap. If we gap down tomorrow, we will have that island cluster top pattern. So look for that. See a gap down, they might just rally it a little bit, but ultimately it's going to break and we're going to have an island cluster top reversal. So we'll see on that one. And then we've got Meta, same thing as Amazon, holding that gap. So if you gap down, you're going to have an island cluster top reversal pattern. So that would be a bearish. Microsoft's actually broken this short term on the daily chart. You can see support, 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 and gap down, and really doesn't look like it's going to be able to recover. So that's a sell signal there on Microsoft. But again, with the others still holding up, this isn't going to go too far. Google, Google kind of moving lower, but no technical change really. I don't see anything technically that tells me there's a sell signal. I've got some support right there, and it's still above that support. So, and then this is the big one, Nvidia, which is this is the hype stock, the mania, and you can see it's barely down today. It's down 0.5%, nothing really. This one's likely going to have a big gap down and trap a bunch of bulls to get the momentum to break. But you can see on the hourly chart, starting to kind of break here. You got some support in here, a little bit in here. I don't know. I don't have a clean read on Nvidia. Nothing I'm really looking to short quite yet on that one. So we'll keep an eye on that. Apple, go back to the daily chart on Apple. Apple's got this daily support here, and you can see another reaction there. That's a reaction. They opened it but rallied it right back above support, starting to break down, and that looks like a sell signal as well, heading down to the 200. Now you're probably going to get some buyers at the 200, so it might battle it out a little bit in this area before just definitively breaking. But yeah, that looks like a sell signal unless they can rally this thing into the close. JP Morgan, financials, really the king of the financials. You can see on the daily chart, again, bearish rising wedge, break, and we were back testing for a while. Negative divergence here on the daily chart right there. And it looks like it's topping to me. All right, so if I roll over, you can see we've got some support right about 172.95, so basically right where it's sitting. A break below that would be a sell signal in my book. So you break below that, you're very likely heading down to the next level of support, 165.10, and then probably the 200-day moving average would be the next target on that. So break below, basically where it's at right now, definitive break right below that would be the sell signal on that one. Okay, interest rates. Here's your 10-year Treasury yield spiking up today. Got some resistance right overhead, about 433. So almost there. So probably going to get a reaction at this level, a little pullback there on the interest rates. But in general, interest rates are continuing to move higher. All right, we are moving higher in interest rates. Again, as interest rates move up, the tech stocks are going to take notice. They can rally for a while, even though the interest rates have been moving up. But eventually they take notice and then they rush to really revert back to the mean. So I think there's probably a decent amount of downside in these tech stocks as interest rates continue to rise, especially if we just slice right through this level and it just continues to rise, then we could backtest the trend line. All right, this is the COVID lows on interest rates. All right, we got lots of reactions on this trend line here. We broke, but if they want to backtest this thing, they could do a backtest like this, rally up, backtest. It put in new all-time, well, not all-time highs, but new highs in this interest rate cycle, which you're very likely going to see the markets like crashing, basically. If we're putting in new highs in interest rates, backtesting this trend line, don't expect tech stocks to be where, at all-time highs. They're very likely going to be, will have crashed basically already at that point. So it won't, it's not anything that you wait for the interest rates to be up here and then get out of your stocks. We will have likely crashed at that point. Affirm looks like a good short trade. It's just it's not triggered yet. We are still kind of holding that support range. So this is the range we've been chopping in. Right back down to it. We hit resistance, right back down to support. We have negative divergence. So I just need to see us kind of take out these lows. You take out the lows, it's, again, probably a pretty swift move right down to 25.07. Okay, so the sell signal would be really taking out kind of the current lows. And then profit target would be down there at 25, about 25, 25.50 or so for about a 36% gain on that one. So keep an eye out for that trade. And I mean, there's obviously a lot of others, but can't cover them all. Tesla's not really doing much. Again, I did point out a potential long setup for Tesla, but I also mentioned that I wasn't interested in taking that trade only because the rest of the big cap tech stocks have negative divergence. So and this one's already sold off. So, I'm just not really interested in going long tech stocks, even though Tesla's not really a tech stock. But I'm not interested in really going long tech stocks when they have really extended divergences that are likely gonna signal a trend reversal. I'm more interested in looking for those sell signals that I've been talking about, being patient, not chasing, waiting for the opportunity to get into short positions and make money on the next move lower. All right, I'm going to wrap up here, guys. If you're interested, join the private member group. I'm putting out additional trade ideas, additional market commentary. Link in the description below, and I will catch you guys on the